I forgot what I was supposed to say when I came out of here. And my wife knows that I'm having that trouble forgetting a lot. And she wrote some things down on paper for me to just say. I even forgot the first thing she said I was supposed to say when I got out of here. Oh, here it is. Good evening. I hope you will forgive me for appearing for you in this condition. However, before you condemn me too severely for being here like this, I must say that I have a very good reason for being loaded tonight. I've been drinking all day. I don't want to confuse you folks. I spoke with my wife, but I've been married 3 times. But my first 2 wives each died a very tragic death. My first wife died from eating poisoned mushrooms, and my second wife died from a fractured skull. She wouldn't eat her mushroom. Oh, my wife was born and raised in Buffalo, New York. And she has a big family back there, and we go back every once in a while and visit for a while. And I love her family. I really, sincerely do, very, very much. They're just wonderful, everyday, down-to-earth folks, you know, plain, no, not the brightest people in the world. She has 4 or 5 sisters, 4 or 5 brothers, and they just. She has one brother-in-law. His name is Frank. Carrie's husband, but you don't know Carrie. But anyway, Frank loves to fish, and I love fishing too. And we were there in the wintertime visiting one day, and Frank wanted me, I guess he wanted me to go ice fishing with him. And he was out in the yard with his bees, and, well, you don't care about his bees, but he got a bunch of them. One of them forgot where he laid his honey, and he was helping him find it. Did you get it? When you get my age, you won't be getting it yet. And so Frank, I always forget this one. Frank, he came in the house. From outside. And he walked up to me and said, Ed, Tom, Bob, Scott, oh, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Foster. Foster? I said, what? He said, would you like to go ice fishing? I said, yeah, I would like that. So we got in his car, and he was driving, and we started out for the lake. And we went through 12 red lights. I said, Frank, who taught you how to drive? He said, my cousin. We came to the next corner, the light was green, he stopped dead. I said, what'd you stop for? He said, my cousin might be coming the other way. We got down to the lake, and when we got down there, we discovered we didn't have any bait. And there was a little shack off to one side that had a sign on it, bait for sale. We went inside, there was a gentleman behind the counter, and my brother-in-law said, how much is bait? He said, oh, I can let you have all you want for $1. He said, good, give us $2 worth. We got out on the lake and we were fishing through one of those little holes. Pretty soon a couple of fellows came whizzing by in a snowmobile. My brother-in-law said, hey, that's what we ought to be doing. I said, what? He said, trolling. I had one brother-in-law went ice fishing one day, brought home 200 pounds of ice. His wife fried it, and they both drowned. Two other brothers-in-law went out one day. When they came home, I said, you have any luck? One of them said, no, we didn't catch anything. I said, what happened? He said, well, by the time we got a hole cut in the ice big enough for the motorboat, we were too tired to fish. Why'd you do that? I have to knock her down 3 or 4 times a night. My late father-in-law was a Navy sea captain, ship's captain, and just before he passed away, like they do sometime, his last request was that he be buried at sea. 2 of my brothers-in-law drowned digging his grave. One of my sisters-in-law started messing around, you know. Even had a nerve enough to take a fellow right in their own house. I mean, he was right in there, way in their own house there. He looked over his shoulder and saw her husband come up the front sidewalk, and he said, where's the back door? She said, we don't have one. He said, where would you like one? Another sister-in-law did the same thing. And the fellow said, what about your husband? She said, don't worry about him. He's a complete idiot. Sure enough, her husband came home, didn't see her in the living room, dining room, the kitchen, looked at the bedroom. There they were. He said, hey, what are you two doing? She said, see, didn't I tell you? I think my sister-in-law came. Anyway, he took a 45 pistol out of a drawer, and he held it up to his head just like this. And she started laughing. He said, don't laugh, you're next. I was in a drugstore this morning, And a little boy came in, one of the cutest youngsters I've seen in a long time. Could have been over six years old. His little chin just barely got up to the countertop. And the druggist said, "Could I help you, Sonny?" He said, "Yes, sir, please. I would like some Tampax." He said, "For Mommy or Sissy?" He said, "No, sir, it's for my little 4-year-old brother." He said, "You say it's for your little brother?" He said, "Yes, sir, we just heard him say on television that if you use Tampax, you can ride a horse and swim and play tennis, and he can't do any of those things." I suppose I've got to be the worst golfer in the whole world, but I play once in a while. Haven't been able to for quite a while because of my knees. But anyway, I kept hitting them too much. I guess that's what ruined my knees. But I knocked the ball over in the rough where I thought for years that's where you're supposed to play, because that's where I always am, you know. And I went over looking for my ball. It was right near the wooded area. And there were 2 little boys in the woods there, and they were wee-weeing up against a tree. I heard one of them say, "I wish I was big enough to hold mine with 3 fingers. So it said, "You are holding yours with 3 fingers." He said, "I know, but I'm peeing on 2 of them." My brother Frank, Carrie's husband, brother-in-law. Well, he's my sister-in-law's husband, and I like to call him my brother-in-law because he's such a nice person. And he went into a bar one Saturday morning, and he was drunk. And they wouldn't sell him a drink because of that, and he was upset about it, standing there looking around. He said, "What's that? What is that over on the wall?" The bartender said, "That's a dartboard." He said, "Can I, you won't give me a drink? Can I play darts?" He said, "No, you can throw that thing and maybe hit somebody with it and hurt them very much. I'd lose my license." He said, "Can I throw just one of them?" He said, "Oh, what am I going to do with this fella, for heaven's sake? I can't do well, all right. I'll make a deal with you. I'll let you throw 1 dart if you promise me you'll leave." He says, "That's a deal." So he handed him a dart, and he threw it, and he got a bullseye. He said, "Hey, how you like that? I got a bull. I hit it right in the middle." He said, "You sure did. Now you win first prize. Now you can go home." He said, "Well, where's my prize?" The bartender said, "Well, why did I say that? We don't give prizes." And he looked under the counter of the bar, and there was a turtle about that big around underneath there. He'd gotten for his little boy. He said, "Well, I'll get him another one." So he said, "Here's your prize," and he handed my brother-in-law the turtle. And he walked out. Next week, he came back in there. And there was another bartender who knew nothing about that which had transpired. And he said, "Before you ask me, fella, I can't give you a drink. You look like you had too much already." He said, "I don't care. I just came in here to play darts." He said, "I can't let you play darts in your condition." He said, "Well, I was in here last Saturday and I played darts." He said, "Oh, really?" He said, "You're darn right. And I don't mind telling you, I won first prize." He said, "You won first prize?" He said, "I sure did." He looked at me and said, "What was the prize?" He said, "A roast beef on a hard roll." No. I have a very good friend, Gene Autry, and his wife, Jackie. And we go places sometimes together, and my brother-in-law, Frank, loves the old Gene Autry movies. So I took him to one of the movies one day. Just before we went into the theater, I said, I'd like to make you a little bet about your big old cowboy friend. He said, what's that? I said, I'll bet you $5 before the picture's over, he falls off his horse. He said, well, now you have a bet. We went in, saw the picture. Sure enough, Gene Autry fell off his horse. Outside, Frank was trying to give me the $5. I said, I can't take it, Frank. He said, what? Why not? I said, because I already saw the picture. I knew he was going to fall off. He said, well, I know. I saw it too, but I didn't think he'd fall off again. No, I was going to tell him a story I got from a friend of mine named Alvy Moore. He's a good actor and a good friend. And I met him coming down the street one night, and he had a lantern in his hand. I said, where are you going with a lantern, Alvy? He said, I'm going courting. I said, courting with a lantern? He said, yeah. I said, well, when I went courting, I didn't take a lantern with me. He said, yeah, and look what you got. My brother-in-law, Frank, Carrie's husband, was not always the nicest person in the world. One day, he got put in jail for borrowing $10 from his wife. And, of course, he had to knock her down 3 or 4 times before she'd let him have it. But anyway, he was robbing a house one time, and all he had in his hand was a flashlight. He was shining around in the first room he went into, and he heard a voice say, Jesus is going to get you. He looked around, he didn't see anything. Went in the next room, heard a voice say, Jesus is going to get you. He shined the light over in the corner. There was a big parrot in a cage. And the parrot said, Jesus is going to get you. He said, you better shut up. I'll pull every feather out of your head. He went in the next room, and he heard, and he looked over in the corner, and there's a great big brown and black Doberman pincer. And the parrot yelled out, get him, Jesus. Oh, I went to the doctor. I went to the doctor for a physical checkup. And after he gave me whatever it was I went there for, he said, put your clothes on and come in the office. I want to talk to you. He said, come over here a minute. I walked over with him to the door, and he pushed the door open. He said, you see that doorway down at the end of the hall? I said, I only see one door, and it's way down there. He said, that's the one I'm talking about, way down there. I said, yes, sir, I see that. He said, inside on a counter, there's a little little tin pan, and it has some sticks in it, like tongue depressors. And they've been medically treated, and I want you to wee-wee on one of those sticks. I said, from here? I couldn't do that in your hand. He said, no, I don't want you. That's silly. Don't talk like that. I want you to go in there and do that. I said, what's that going to prove? He said, well, if the stick turns purple, you have diabetes. And if your shoes turn yellow, you missed the stick. He said, well, let me put it this way. I got some bad news and some good news. I said, okay, give me the bad news. He said, well, it's all according to how you regard something such as this, but you do show very definite signs of homosexuality. I said, I do? He said, you sure do. I said, well, if that's the bad news, what in the world could the good news be? He says, the good news is I think you're cute. You know, last May the 11th, I reached my 79th birthday. And I woke up that morning, got all freshened up and went out to the breakfast room. Thought, sure, my wife. I knew I'd been here too long. I thought my wife would say happy birthday, but she didn't. Our two daughters joined me at the breakfast table, and each of them said, good morning, Daddy, but neither one of them said happy birthday. So when I got in the car to go to the studio office for a while, I was feeling pretty low. I have this young lady about 27 years old, one of the prettiest young ladies you've ever seen, and she's my secretary. And as soon as I walked in the door, the first thing she said was, happy birthday, Mr. Brooks. That made me feel real good. Then she said, today the treat is on me. Whoa, well now. I said, what did you have in mind? She said, I'm taking you to lunch. 12 o'clock in her car out this secluded little spot. We had a wonderful luncheon, and I had 6 or 7 drinks. And on the way back to the office, she said, Mr. Brooks, I think it's much too beautiful a day to waste going back to the office. Why don't we stop at my place, have a few more drinks if you'd like, and relax a little bit? Well, I was all for that. We went up there, and I had 5 or 6 more drinks, and she suddenly said, Mr. Brooks, if you'll excuse me, I'll step into the bedroom and change into something a little more comfy. Well, she went in there, and in no time at all, bedroom door opened, out walked my secretary with my wife and my 2 daughters and the big birthday cake, singing happy birthday. And there I was sitting on the couch with nothing but my socks on. My wife and I never have sat around the house and discussed a women's lib group, you know. Never. As long as she does everything I tell her, why, everything will be all right. Everything, but she wanted to find out about something about it, and so she told me one morning she was going to her first women's lib meeting that day. Well, I didn't care, so she left, she went. I came home that afternoon, stepped in the door, expecting to get that little kiss I've been getting down through the years, and by George, it wasn't there that day. Instead, she was standing across the room, backed up against the wall, her arms folded, with a big stare on her face, staring at me like I started the war. And she said, From now on, Buster, you're doing the dishes around here. And she took her blouse off. Took her blouse off and slammed it on the floor. And then she took her bra off and she slammed that down on the floor. I said, "Gee, hon, you're beautiful." She said, "You're going to clean the windows, do the dusting, the mopping, the vacuuming, all the housework from now on. How do you like that?" I can't get over it. You're really beautiful. She said, "On the weekend you're going to rake the lawn, get the weeds and the twigs from the trees and everything, and shove everything in the garbage sack and take it out front for the garbage man. How does that grab you?" I said, "I just can't get over how beautiful you are." She said, "I don't understand you. Here I'm telling you all the things you're going to have to be doing around here in the future. All you do is stand there and tell me I'm beautiful." I said, "Well, just now, when you took your bra off, your bazoom fell down and pulled all the wrinkles out of your face, and you're beautiful." I was way down south not so long ago, and I saw some property I thought maybe I might like to invest in, so I called my wife up. I said, "Hon," she said, "What?" I said, "I'm going to buy a condominium." She said, "I don't care. I'm going to take the pill anyway." I said, "A condominium is something you rent out." She said, "Well, if you don't get better, I'm going to give it away." Did I tell you the one about my wife? We were in a car in a shopping center, and she asked me to stop in front of a little store because she wanted to go in and buy a new bra. Did I tell you that? Huh? Did I? Oh, thank you. I forgot the story. She said, "Hun, stop over here, that little green place there." And I understand it's a very nice little store, and I want to go in and buy a new bra. Well, maybe I shouldn't have said what I said, but I was just kidding, trying to get a laugh out of her, so make something I got out of her. And I know I said it because I was there. I heard it. I said, "What do you want to buy a new bra for? You haven't got anything to put in it." She said, "Well, you buy shorts, don't you?" I was getting ready to come out here before you nice folks, and all dressing rooms have full-length mirrors where you check yourself up on, make sure you're presentable to you folks, and make sure you don't have any lint on your clothes. And I have a suit made out of lint. It picks up blue serge. Anyway, I was standing there and I was dressing, just brushing myself off and everything. I said, "Uh-oh." And my wife said, "What's wrong?" I said, I almost walked out there in front of all the nice folks with my fly open. She said, "Why not? Dead men don't fall out of windows." One of my brothers-in-law went home one night and he was drunk as a hoot owl. We say that all the time. I've never seen a drunken hoot owl. But anyway, he walked in the house. His wife said, You you come home drunk like this one more time, I'm cutting out all your sex. And he said, you don't even know where I'm getting it. Well, you've been awfully nice, ladies and gentlemen, put up with all this foolishness. I can't imagine a man my age doing all that crazy stuff. Well, here's a song I'm going to try to sing, and I hope I can make it. What key is that? C? That's my first note? All right. Make the world go away. Take it off my shoulder. Say the things you used to say, and make the world go away. Do you remember when you loved me, before the world took me astray? If you do, then forgive me and make the world go away. Make the world go away. Take it off my shoulder. Say the things you used to say, and make the world go away.